Mr. WNBA Hakeem Prophet has started just where he left off 3 weeks into the WNBA season. He's now 8-4 in total plays while hitting 83% in NBA playoff totals, 10-2. Ski's WNBA season is $269, which is now discounted down to $199. Plus, if you purchase this special before Sunday, you will get the rest of his NBA playoff totals for free. To get Hakeem Prophet's WNBA and his NBA totals through the finals, it would cost you $448. But right now, you can lock in all of these plays for just $199.
Am I on screen? I guess it's working. Hey, welcome in here, guys. Friday edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show, powered by WagerTalk.com. As we continue to move along here in the association playoffs. Couple of games here tonight. Some interesting matchups over the weekend as well. 4 games in total here. 2 today, 1 tomorrow, 1 Sunday. Sixers, Hawks. We're going to have some Nuggets and some Phoenix Suns, followed by Game 3 of Utah, the Clippers. And we'll end with the Nets and the Milwaukee Bucks here. And, of course, we'll break these games down with 3 of the absolute finest in the business on this Friday edition. It is the Friday crew here. We're talking Ski Profit. We are talking Stevie in the Middle, Merrill, and, of course, our good friend Kevin Dolan bouncing back and forth between the NBA playoffs and, of course, the Euros, which just kicked off. And he's got a great opportunity for you guys to be able to profit all month long as the Euros 2020-2021 kicked off a little earlier this Friday afternoon. But Ski, let me start with you, my man. I know you had the under 150 last night in the you took the alternate line in the Bucks-Nets game. But outside of that, talk to me exactly. What did you do last night, and what do you got heading into Friday right now?
Yesterday, NBA, I went over 222 in the Clippers game, so that was good. Got back on track in the NBA, and I know I had a best bet winner in WNBA too. So my big plays won, and that turned out to be a winning day. Today, I've only made 1 play so far in the MLB, but I'm still looking. I have a couple on my radar for WNBA, and I'll probably make a play on NBA after the show.
Love it, Mr. WNBA. It's what we'll be referring to you here from now on there, my friend. Talk to me here, Merrill. How did you do last night? And did you need to take a break after watching all that offense in the Nets game? You okay? You all right? You ready? You fired back here? What's going on tonight? Oof.
Really crazy last night. The first half line was 2.5, then it was 3. It closed 3.5 in some spots, while the full game line was still 3.5. And the Bucks win the first half by 3, and they win the full game by 3. So half-point losses, whether you had the first half or the full game, and probably not boding too well for them now. They get the win, they still don't cover, and now they're actually a 1-point dog in Game 4. So we'll see how that plays out. So despite that half-point loss, and despite the Jazz missing out by a point the other night, I put it out at -4, closed -3. Most people got a push. I still counted it as a loss. Still 27-12 NBA run, which could be even better if it wasn't for those narrow misses the last couple of nights. So still red hot, and I've got both games tonight as strong best bets at WagerTalk.com.
All right, there you go. Get them at WagerTalk.com, both him and Ski. And, of course, Kevin Dolan back in the saddle here again on this Friday edition of the NBA Tip-Off Show. Kev, talk to us here, man. Anything on the board last night, and what do you got? You got to be locked and loaded here as we head into this weekend.
Yeah, I had a small 2%, 2 plays up in the NBA last night. We pushed on the Milwaukee. I put it out at -3. And then I had the Clippers on the money line plus 135 as a small play too. So obviously didn't get that. But look, I have that plus 800 future in Utah, so I was happy enough. But yeah, look, rolling along nicely right now in NBA. Cash another 5% winner on the 76ers on Tuesday. That's 15 now, the last 17, 5% step out plays we've cashed since April. So obviously pretty happy with that. And as you said at the top of the show, Euro 2020 just kicked off. So, looking forward to breaking down this weekend's NBA card, obviously, and then settling down in front of the couch to watch some soccer.
What we got, it's a loaded weekend here. No reason not to make it a profitable one. So, gentlemen, let's dive in to the first game on the board here tonight as we look for a game 3 here between the Hawks and the Sixers. And this opened up with the Sixers being a favorite on the road at -2. That has since moved closer to Atlanta, -1.5 now for the Sixers. 224.5 is what I'm seeing in a number of spots for the total. Ski, we talked about this in the final month of the season with the Hawks. Pretty darn good and profitable at home. They weren't so much on the road. What do you think we're going to see here tonight in their first game back in Atlanta?
Well, if I like the Hawks, I would definitely probably take them early. I think every game except for one, they've covered the first half in the playoffs. And I could see him coming out with the energy with the pack house. And it'll be interesting to see. McMillan talked about there's some adjustments that he could make. And it'll be interesting to see those for the first half. So I would take them for that period before maybe Philly has the time to adjust. Outside of that, maybe Philly makes some adjustments at the half. I do think that they could win the game. The total was a little bit more interesting to me. You know, there's only one thing that kind of was holding me up from betting it under. And I heard Ravino mention it, I think last time we talked. It was either here or it was on another one of the shows that we do. But I missed it live, but during the break, he says the camera went over and you just hear McMillan telling Trae Young pick up the pace, etc. So that makes me hesitate. Other than that, I have all the reasons to look towards under. I mean, after the first game, Doc Rivers, all he could do was talk about defense. After the previous game, Joel said, we want to come out with defensive intensity. So I think that doesn't change either. You look at, and I compared him before, I'll compare him again. Philly's first round series, they allowed a lot of points in game 1. The next 2 games, they averaged or allowed closer to 100. And Hawks had 102 in the last one. I can see something similar today. So I look at McMillan. He says, we didn't do a good job establishing and controlling our defense. He said we allowed 24 points in the paint in the first quarter, and just pretty much saying they got to do a better job. And there's some different things that they can do defensively on Embiid. So I hear a lot of stuff towards defense. One more quote for McMillan. He says, we have to get to our third and fourth option. We took too many quick shots, and he was talking about the beginning of the game. He said you can't do that versus good defensive teams because those good defensive teams are going to be right there for your first and second options. It's going to be when you continue to run your action that you get better looks. So he wants them to take a little bit more time and find better looks. It just sounds like under to me. So that's the way that I lean. And if I'm going to play player props, it would be I mentioned him on WagerTalk today, but Bogdanovich, points, rebounds, assists. Last I saw, I think his number was 25.5. He's gone over that 22 of his last 30 games. Collins, I've kind of played his assists a little bit lately. He's gone over, or he's had 1 assist. His assist total was 0.5. He's had 1 assist every single time he's played Philly, which is 5 games, and he's had it 73% of regular season games. So that's all that I like for this game.
So, Steve, we know the Hawks 4-1 straight up, 5-0 against the number in their last 5 home games against the Sixers. They certainly love the home cooking. It was very profitable to back them at home this year. What do you think we're going to see, though, in game 1 here tonight as an underdog?
Yeah, I mean, Atlanta's been an incredible case study this year with that coaching change. Back on March 1st, they were 14-20 straight up. They make the change to an interim basis to Nate McMillan, who could probably now be head coach at almost any team in the league. Maybe only 3 or 4 wouldn't take him right now as their head coach. So he's a hot commodity. They should have locked him up. Well, they could have. But nonetheless, this team was 14-20 on March 1st. They have since gone 32-19. 32-13 since the coaching change. They're 27-11 at home, as you mentioned, Joe. I believe they're on a 21-2 current home run.
Yep.
And they haven't even had a full house until like tonight. So maybe that'll be the distraction. I don't know. I mean, can't figure out why their home court is that strong. I mean, they are a young team, and I do think young teams like Philly the last couple of years are often much better at home. You keep in mind the extreme home road dichotomy that Philadelphia had the last couple of seasons. The Sixers are 4 games above 500 on the road this year, though, so they have started to win away from home. But something I wanted to point out about this series, keep in mind, Atlanta got game 1. They won by 4. They were up by 20 at the half in game one. Philly just came out flat and slow. But over the last 6 quarters, Philadelphia has outscored them by 32 points total. So they've really owned them since that slow start. We'll see if it changes tonight. This looks like an obvious bounce-back spot for Atlanta, but I still think Philly's a better team in this series. Also, we'll look at the total. As Ski said, they haven't been able to stop Philadelphia. And as Rob Vino said on Wager Talk today, they can't stop Embiid. But as Ski said, the quotes are saying they're looking to shut him down. And that's often what we see in playoff basketball. And that's why the zigzag, whether it's a side or total, works so well over the years, because teams make adjustments in these 7-game series. And the fact that Philly has shot lights out in the first 2 games, what has it been, 53 and 55% from the field, I'm not sure the over is necessarily an automatic play. The pace has still not been all that fast, even with that great shooting. I mean, look, Philly shot 53, Atlanta shot 46, and they only totaled 220 in game 2 the other night. Still stayed under. And I do think there's some defensive adjustments here. So it might be a little bit lower scoring than people expect.
All right, that's two things. It's going to be a little less points on the board here tonight. Kev, what do you think here? You give the home dog an opportunity here to get a leg up in the series?
Yeah, I mean, possibly. I said at the intro there that I really like the bounce back angle on the 76ers on Tuesday. I thought a lot of that poor perimeter shooting they had in game 1 would be cleaned up. That's what happened. They duly delivered. But, I was especially impressed, I think, with how easy Joel Embiid seemed to have it in there. Capella didn't really find much traction against them in game 2. So I think this line is about right in terms of setting the handicap for the game. I don't really have much opinion on the side. We know Philadelphia won't want to go down 2-1 here facing yet another game in Atlanta. So, they'll be coming here focused out of this one. But by the same token, you just can't discredit, especially what Steve just said there, what Atlanta has done up to this point at home, especially to close out the season. 13 straight wins now in home court for the Hawks. Last loss coming against the Bucks back in April. So I really don't want to step in front of that Atlanta train right now. Ski stole a bit of my thunder ahead of this one. I was looking at a player prop for this one. I like Bogdan Bogdanovic as well, over 17.5 points prop at -110. I thought the Serbian, he had a pretty underwhelming game in game 2, 37% shooting, 33% from downtown. I do expect a slightly better performance from him here tonight on home court. He scored 21 points in game 1, for example, and has averaged 17 points per game on the season as a whole. So, yeah, that's the way I'd look on this one. Bogdanovic over 17.5 points for me in this one tonight against Philly.
All right, there you go, guys. That'll be game number 1, 7:35 Eastern Time tip here tonight between the Sixers and the Hawks, game 3. We're going to take a look at the late game here tonight, which comes with a handy-dandy NBA betting angle, courtesy of our good friend John Ryan over at sportsmemo.com. And his betting angle backing the Nets last night, plus the points, turned out to be a profitable one. Let's see what he says here tonight. He says we want to bet on home favorites in Game 3 of the NBA playoffs. Our home favorite lost the first 2 games of the series. If that's the case, well, then we're talking about a 37-17-2 ATS, 69% over the last 25 playoff seasons. In round 1, it's 68%. In round 2, which we are right now, it is 13-7-1 ATS for a 65% angle. John Ryan says you got to bet the Denver Nuggets minus the points, or heck, even at the money line, -120 or better. And let's take a look at this one here, guys, as it opened up somewhere around the 1.5 mark and still holding strong. There is a 2 in the a couple of 2s in the marketplace. The total, I'm seeing 223s pop up now, so the total's getting a little love to the over. So Merrill, let me come to you here. What do you think here? Denver down 2-0, backs against the wall. Is a little home court exactly what they need to get back into this?
Well, I think there's a legitimate home court advantage here. I mean, we got the altitude angle. Denver and Utah are the 2 teams in the NBA that are definitely can fatigue other teams. I know both teams are on the same rest schedule, but Denver is used to playing in the altitude all year long. And Phoenix could come in a little bit of fat and happy here, and they're a desert team. So if there's ever an angle where the altitude might work, it looks like it's tonight. Yet what's interesting about this game, and I talked about this at the intro, and I talked about it earlier today on Wager Talk TV with Wager Talk Today, was that game last night, that the first half line for Milwaukee to Brooklyn closed 3.5, which was the same as the game line, something you hardly ever see. I'm not sure I've ever seen the situation tonight Denver, as you said, Joe, is currently a 1.5 point favorite in the game. They're a 2.5 point first half favorite. Now, the reason for this is because over the last 6 years or so, coming into this playoffs, and it hasn't worked yet this year, by the way, it's down a game or two, I think. But coming in this year, I believe it was 90-41 playing the first half, game 3. Teams down 0-2 in the first half of game 3 were 90-41 against the spread. The reason these systems stop working after a while is, first of all, when we're talking about it here on the show, it's being talked about a lot of other places too. The odds makers catch on, the public catches on, and that was proven last night. Milwaukee, a 3.5 point game favorite, should not have been -3, 3.5 in the first half. They should have been 1.5 or 2. They win by 3 in the first half. Now Denver, a 1.5 point game favorite, should not be -2.5 in the first half, especially with the altitude. If anything, the altitude kicks in the second half, and that's when they should pull away from Phoenix, because that's when the Suns should become fatigued. So this angle is fully priced in. I do not think you want to play Denver first half. If you like the Nuggets, you play the full game, because first of all, you're getting a cheaper price. It's a bounce back spot regardless, and that altitude should kick in later. That's when the fatigue kicks in. But I'll tell you what, I thought I was looking at a preseason NFL game here where the Denver Broncos were going to play their starters 3 quarters, and the Phoenix Cardinals were resting everybody to see a first half line higher than the full game. Because I'm telling you, that's the only time I can remember seeing this in the betting markets over the years, has been like an NFL preseason situation. So this is pretty interesting to see how this plays out tonight.
Yeah, it's like you said, though, it's interesting that that great trend, not very profitable thus far, but we'll see how it goes here tonight. Kev, talk to us, my man. We watched a team backed into a corner last night at home come through with the victory there with the Milwaukee Bucks down 2-0. What do you think we're going to see here tonight from this Nuggets team?
Well, I'm going to save a prop for this game for my best bet at the end of the show, but in terms of an outright side, I do lean Denver here as well. It's just maybe more for the flat-out embarrassed part. That's what they were in Wednesday night's loss to the Suns, 14 for 43 from downtown, double-digit turnovers as well in that game. And that followed on from Monday's 14 for 33-point shooting effort as well for Denver. So, you'd have to imagine that the Nuggets come in here tonight and try and lay down some kind of marker for this series, as if they drop another one here tonight, they may as well start scheduling their vacation trip early. I think, we talked about this a few weeks ago. I think that Jamal Murray injury is really coming home to roost right now for the Nuggets. I drew a line through this team as potential champions when that happened. And I think, in fairness, this series is already likely over right now. But by the same token, whatever Denver have left in the tank, it's going to come out tonight. So I do lean Denver definitely -1.5 and the over against the Suns later tonight.
All right, good stuff. I mean, Ski, listen, we're probably going to see a better offensive showing from the Nuggets being at home here tonight, maybe early. But what have we seen in this series that leads us to believe ultimately the outcome is going to be any different than kind of what we've got in game 1 and game 2? The defense of the Suns is no joke. What do you think Denver is going to do tonight, or is it just going to be pretty much the same old, same old?
I don't think Denver is a good team. I mean, my bad. I don't think Denver's a good team in the second half.
Second half, yeah.
You look at their last few games, they just kind of been getting outplayed. I don't know if Jokic is getting tired at the end of the games or whatever the case may be. Like Kevin said, Mike Malone was kind of just ripping his team, saying that they were embarrassed, like he said, and that there were a lot of guys on the court that didn't care, a lot of guys that quit. That's what he said. And he said it's going to be tough to find 5 guys that actually want to play today. So it kind of doesn't give me confidence in them.
Yeah.
But then again, I mean, the guys may just show up just because of how bad he was talking about them. Maybe, like Kevin said, they just feel embarrassed and they got to come show something in front of their home crowd. So I look at that and I was thinking MPJ was not looking healthy as far as he wasn't making shots. On defense, he wasn't looking too good. But in the interview, they asked Mike Malone, how's Michael Porter Jr. doing? Is his back bothering him a little bit still? He says, he's fine. So he's not giving him any excuses. I would think it's a spot where Denver comes out to play. I think I disagree a little bit with Steve. I understand why, as far as playing the full game rather than the first half. But Denver has been better in the first half. I don't think they've been a good second half team all season, but especially lately. I would just expect if they don't come out and bring it early, when are they going to bring it? So I like them in the first quarter, probably the first half too. And if I had to play a side on the game, it would be Denver, but I like them early more. And for the total, I always say it's kind of correlated. Like Denver doesn't want to play against that Phoenix set defense. So Mike Malone has already told us they want to get out and run every chance that they get. And I think that, I mean, look at the first half of the game, last game. They shot 7% from three, and it was pretty low scoring. The game still got to 221.
Yep.
So if you get a full game of effort and a little bit of pace from both sides, maybe, I mean, you get up and over that number. So I like the full game over too. Probably like the first half a little bit more. You're only getting 109.5 now. They've dropped it a little bit from, what was it, 113 the past couple games. So I like points. I like the Nuggets, and I don't really have a prop for this game.
Jay Crowder, 2.5 threes. So Denver 27-12 straight up at home this season. They did have a losing ATS record, but let's face it, at this price, it's pretty much a pick 'em here. So keep an eye on Will Barton too, by the way. Maybe the most impressive part of Denver's performance in Game 2 was the couple of minutes Will Barton played in there, giving him a little bit more depth, but Monte Morris and company, somebody else besides Jokic has got to help them here. That game, 10 o'clock Eastern tonight, guys. That's the tip-off Game 3, Denver-Phoenix. We're going to take a look at tomorrow's game quickly between the Jazz and the Clippers. This, too, odd enough, we're finding ourselves in another situation with a team going home down 2-0. That being the Clippers. Opened up at 3.5. It's been pushed to 4, even 4.5. already here, guys, and this is as of coming to you and taping this on Friday. I'm seeing 4.5, so the money is rolling in on the Clippers, which I don't know is necessarily unexpected. 223.5 as a total, so that's staying there. Kev, let me come to you here. The Jazz have been pretty darn impressive outside of that initial 0 for 21 there in the first in Game 1. They've been pretty good here. What do you think? You think the Clippers can at least get back in by winning Game 3?
Yeah, for sure. Like, I wouldn't discredit the Clippers, but I'm loving the way Utah are playing right now. Look, I've mentioned it before, that plus 800 ticket we're sitting on right now on them. That's down to about plus 250 now. So, we're getting some really nice value in that. And I'm basically, I'm undecided yet whether to jump in before Sunday on the Brooklyn Nets, try and balance that out and look to guarantee some profit, or maybe just ride it out. I don't know. But for this game, pretty much like we said about Denver in the preview before, Game 3s usually do bring about a best effort from the home team. If they're facing that 0-3 deficit, and that's exactly, what we do have here. So, the Clippers definitely have to bring it. I thought Utah were on cruise control for a lot of last night's game. 21-point leads you mentioned in the third quarter. Clippers looked a little bit done, but, fair play to them, testament to them. They came back, cut the lead to nothing, before Utah were eventually able to finish that game off late, But it's the fact for me that they were able to get themselves in that kind of hole. That does raise alarm bells for me. And they seem to have no answer for what Donovan Mitchell was doing as well. So I think we do see a best effort from the Clippers here tomorrow. It's just, I'm not totally sure if it'll be enough, So I would lean to the Clippers here from playing this one as a standalone game. But look, I'll be more than happy sitting this one out, rooting for the Jazz here, and try and get me one step closer to cashing that big future ticket on them down the lane.
Steve, let me throw up the series price if we could here, guys, on this Clippers and Utah game, because the question is, and there obviously we know Clippers are going to get a lot of public money, a lot of support, big names and all, playoff P and Kawhi. These are guys that the public is going to be happy betting. But the Clippers are a 4.5-point favorite already in this game, but if you haven't bet the Clippers right now, but you think maybe they can come back and win both games here at the Staples, is now the time to jump on the Clippers with that series price.
Yeah, I mean,
if
we
you're expecting
talked about this. I'm sorry, I thought you said Steve.
Did we get confused? Was it Steve?
Listen,
Which one was
why don't you just both go at the same damn time? All right.
He said he was going to do Merrill, but I could have sworn he said Steve. But I want to hear what Ski has to say.
Go ahead, Ski. Go ahead, brother. You got it, man. Go ahead. Well, we talked about, to be fair, though, for those of you that joined us yesterday, Ski, we talked about stay away from the Utah series price. Just bet them on the money line for the rest of the series. Just keep betting Utah if you want to go that route. You'll get more money. What about the Clippers here?
Yeah, I prefer to just take the Clippers on like a series because I mean, if you're going to lay the money line is what, 200, minus 200 or so, and you're getting plus 330. I still think that if they win this game, I mean, they're right back in the series. The series doesn't start until you win a game on the other team's home floor. So I think there's some value on the Clippers side, as much as I don't want them to win. For that game, I probably will look towards the total again. I talked about they only had 6 fast break points in game 1. We talked about all the free throws they shot, all the 3-point attempts. So they had to get more than 6, right? They got more than 6. They shot less 3-pointers, but they shot better. And they definitely shot better from the field. There was no way both teams were going to combine and shoot 41.5. And like I said, they got the 221 there. So in this last game, I just see no reason why we don't expect points. If they keep putting the margin close to where it is, like 223 is 222, we continue to go over. So that's how I'm feeling in that game.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, Merrill, what do you think here? It's, they're going to be a favorite tonight. They're probably going to be a favorite again tomorrow. So maybe hop on that plus 330 for a series price if you think the Clips are back in this.
Yeah, this is a textbook example of what we've talked about over the shows. If you're going to play these adjusted series prices, this is when you do it, because the Clippers were only a slight dog before game 1. Now they're a 3-1 dog. And I said this last week. I said if they get by Dallas, which I thought they would, even when they were down 3-2, we talked about how they were 14-1 to win the whole thing. Well, first of all, they were 6-0 when the playoffs started. They were 14-1 going into game 6 last week against Dallas. They win that game, and they're instantly 6-1 again. Their odds get cut in half after winning just one playoff game last week. And I even said, but screw it, even at 14-1, you're better off just moneyline parlaying the Clippers, because if they win this whole thing, they're going to be down in every series. And now they're down 0-2. I mean, yeah, that's the way to do it. Now, the one reason you might want to play game 3 as a standalone is because the Clippers can win game 3 tomorrow and still not win the series. So that's why it's not definitely the way to play it. But I do think there's some value with the Clippers on the series price, because I do think they get game 3 tomorrow at home. And once again, Joe, first half line 3.5, full game 4.5 tomorrow for that situation once again where a team is down 0-2 heading back in game 3.
Yep, absolutely. It's craziness there, guys. That game tomorrow, 8:35 p.m. Saturday evening. That's when that will tip off Eastern time. So one Saturday, and then, of course, we do have one more game on Sunday. And let's all hope from an entertaining standpoint, man, some of these shots start falling in as the Nets and Bucks there. Game 4. In their series right now, I'm still trying to figure out. It's set basketball back about 20 years, that game last night. But we've got a early line here, guys, as we're looking at it. I'm seeing a lot of ones now. It opened up Nets -2. Obviously, a lot of Buck love coming in here. I'm seeing -1 a couple of days out. I'm also seeing the total coming down. I mean, that's what happens when you score 80 points. The total is coming down at 228. I'm seeing some places 228.5. So, Merrill, let me come to you. What do you think here? After what we saw, is it overreaction time? We see it all the time, all year long in the NBA. We saw it, right? We see something, and then the recency bias kicks in, and the value is on the other way. Money coming in on the under. Are we going to get another 86-83 game in your mind?
Well, there's no question that the public, I think the square side was Brooklyn last night, and I was on the Bucks, as we've established, and it just shows, the public or the consensus side is not always wrong. And what was unusual about the game last night is you could probably make an argument that line was a little inflated, even though the public was on the other side with Brooklyn. And I was okay giving up a little bit of line value because I handicapped the NBA playoffs situationally, and you can't look at statistics from one game to the next for players, teams, or anything, because it's all about adjustments in these 7-game series. And once again, I thought the Bucks were in a great spot last night. I still think they were. I mean, obviously, Brooklyn did not show up. The problem is Milwaukee didn't show up offensively. So it's very hard to trust them now going forward when they get a win like that. As I said, they hold the Nets to 83 points, 30-some% shooting, 25 from the arc, and they still don't cover. But now they are a slight dog on that same court. So it's a tough game to handicap. I mean, this line's been swinging, 3-4 points per game. Or were they +4 the first game, -2 the next game, -3.5, and now they're +1 at home. They're a home dog when they were a road favorite just 2 games ago. So I don't know what to make of this. I'll be digging in deeper. We have until Sunday, luckily, for me to figure out what to do with it. But, yeah, some crazy line moves, to say the least, in this one. And it's all because of James Harden, obviously. But so far the Nets haven't needed them.
Yeah, Kev, we were laughing before the show started. We're just like, wow, it was like we woke up. It was 1989 all over again in the NBA. It was kind of nuts there, but that's caused a couple of things to happen in the marketplace. Certainly the total coming down from what it opened up at, and a lot of folks feel Milwaukee is back in this. I don't know. Is Milwaukee the better team? Does Milwaukee have a shot here of tying this thing up?
I'll be honest, Joe. No, I mean, I was on Milwaukee myself, -3, as I said last night, and I felt fortunate to get a push, to be honest. I have to look at Brooklyn here for this one on Sunday. It's just one of those games. Look, Chris Middleton, 35 points. Giannis, 33 points. The Bucks limited the Nets to just 36.2% shooting. That's a full 13% less than their first place season average. If you'd have told me all those stats before last night's tip-off, I'd have turned that 2% play of Milwaukee -3 into a 5% play. But in reality, as I said, I thought I was fortunate to hang on for a push in that game. The Nets probably played, arguably one of their worst games in a few, and they still should have won that game. They couldn't score over the last minute and a half of the game. I'm being honest, I'm very bearish now looking at Milwaukee's chances, especially in this series. I think the Nets are showing clearly why they are the team to beat in the East. And while I have, a bit like Steve, I haven't decided whether to pull the trigger on them just yet ahead of Sunday. It's definitely Brooklyn or passing me here.
All right, definitely going to be Brooklyn or pass there. And by the way, some highlights from that game, if you didn't get a chance to see it. Do you have it, Robert? Yep, very pretty much. That's what it was last night. We'll probably, hopefully, get a few more of those made by Sunday, that's for sure. All right, guys, let's take a look here. Best bet time. We've got the opportunity now. A lot of ways to go here tonight, certainly, with the two games on the card. Whether it be prop, whether it be side, first half, a lot of ways to go this. So, Ski, we're going to start with you. You running point here, man. Give us that one best bet here tonight on the card that you think we should go with.
Well, I didn't get a chance to talk about Bucks, so I'll spend a little bit of my time talking about the Bucks.
I can play. Well, no, go ahead. Use the Bucks. Go ahead, then. That's fine. How
much Giannis sucks, and how he shouldn't have 2 MVPs. He can't even make a mid-range open shot, and it's just terrible. He's making everybody's life harder around him. So I agree with Kevin. I don't like. There's no way I'm picking the Bucks. No way they win the series, in my opinion. And I think Brooklyn probably first quarter, first half, full game runs away with it. That's my opinion. So that's how I feel about that game. Best bet for today. I haven't actually placed a wager, and I usually like to at least have one or give you one that I've actually made. But when I'm really close to getting to the window with, I like Denver and Phoenix to go over. I mean, they've dropped that total now 3.5 points. First half over 109.5. I just think we see a lot of pace from Denver side, and we can get up and over.
All right, liking some points here, both of in that game here tonight. So take a look at the total there. And Merrill, what do you think, my man? I know there's a prop somewhere in there, so we'll go ahead and give you the floor. 60 seconds. Ski has got the mute button ready, so go ahead, talk to us, Merrill. Where are you going tonight? Best bet.
Yeah, well, first of all, my prop is going to be the best bet. I'm going to use a prop here just to keep it consistent here, but not to scare the viewers because my baseball's in a bag on Monday, I think was enough props for all the entire week. But yeah, I figured you skipped Ski on that last question because I figured you wanted to get out of the show quicker so you could get back to watching the Euro World Cup qualifiers, which he lives for. And for the show best bet, and quickly, by the way, we'll have some baseball videos hopefully this weekend here on Wager Talk TV on a monster run, all sports, 18-7. A longer term 42-23 now. Baseball, basketball, best bets. Code Steve29 gets you 3 days all sports for $29. Steve29 at WagerTalk.com. Use the drop down, not 69. You'll pay only 29. Steve29 at WagerTalk.com. We're going to look at Jokic over 47.5 points, rebounds, assists. Instead of playing over 30.5 points, which is pricey, over 40.5 at 7.5 assists, points, and rebounds. Can't see a situation where Denver doesn't have a big game if he's not part of it. And he's done that more times than not against Phoenix this season. Jokic over 47.5 for the triple.
Woo! Thinks he's coming out firing here tonight. All right, Kev, talk to us, my man. You mentioned a prop. Which one you going to go with here tonight?
Yeah, well, I'll just throw in quickly. We got coupon code Irish30. I love my coupons up right now over at Wager Talk. That knocks a full $200 off our 30-day all access pass until this Sunday. So that's the biggest ever discount in the monthly package we've ever had. So jump on that before it expires. You know, in terms of a best bet, I'm going to go with a nice little prop for tonight. That's Denver -1.5 and the over 55.5 points combined in the first quarter. That's going off at a +240. I really like that. You know, I said it before. I think Denver have to come out tonight, lay down a marker in this game. The Nuggets ranked 7th in the league this season overall points per game. That jumps to 2nd, though, on first quarter points per game this season. They're generally a team, you know, we talked about this earlier, that likes to come out the blocks fast. You know, and that's exactly what they're going to have to do here later tonight. On the flip side, the Nuggets have allowed a point per game more over the last 3 starts in the first quarter than their season average as well. So I do expect this one to be kind of hot on both ends here tonight. So yeah, for me, prop bet Denver -1.5 and the over 55.5 points first quarter at a nice +240 price tag for tonight. Best bet.
Somebody give the man some oxygen. Good God.
I know, I was running out.
He got a coupon in there. He almost passed out. He was hyperventilating. That was excellent. Very nice.
I need a bag.
Well done, man. Well done. All right, guys, there you go. You got a lot to unpackage here, so let's recap it for you. We got Ski Profit, just to be clear here, laughs at Giannis and can't wait for the Clippers to get blown out. But he does take the Suns Nuggets first half over at 109.5. Merrill says Jokic going to have the night here tonight, over 47.5 points, rebounds, and assists. And Kevin Dolan, as he hyperventilated, busted out the Nuggets first quarter, 1.5, and the Suns Nuggets first quarter over 55.5. And our good friend John Ryan over at sportsmemo.com, his angle of the day says, lay the 1.5 or heck, even the money line on the Denver Nuggets to get at least one win here tonight in their home court. So that does it here, guys. A lot going on in the world of sports here, obviously. A lot of NBA. Don't forget Major League Baseball all weekend long. The Euros all month long. Plenty of opportunities for you to make it an extremely profitable June. It starts by heading over to WagerTalk.com. Head over to Ski's page. Head over to Steve Merrill's page and Mr. Coupon himself over there, Mr. Kevin Dolan. While he's hooking up the oxygen tank, he's probably going to come up with another coupon, Oxygen 50, which will probably just give you the whole damn thing all set up for him. So make sure you head over to Kevin Dolan's page, guys, because when I tell you, when it comes to soccer, the man is locked and loaded as well as the NBA playoffs. So much available to you guys. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Hit that bell in the upper right-hand corner, and then come back and make plans. Join us on Monday. We'll recap the weekend and, of course, take a look at what is remaining and where the value is in the NBA playoffs. On behalf of Ski, Steve in the middle, Merrill, and, of course, Kevin Dolan. Guys, best of luck with your plays. Have a profitable weekend. Come back and join us on Monday. We'll see you then.
What's happening, guys? Just a quick update in regards to our already jam-packed Euro 2020 tournament package that's up at WagerTalk right now. Is the fact we're adding all Copa America plays as part of that package for absolutely free. That's 51 games in the Euros, 28 in the Copa America, spread across 2 of the hottest tournaments in international soccer, all for just $199 to pad your bankroll right through the summer. And that goes down to just $149 if you take advantage of coupon code EL50 before 3 p.m. on Friday. Head on over to my handicapper page at WagerTalk for more info. And as always, until next time, Slán